Y'all, I done tested positive for the COVID. Hey y'all, and welcome to No More Closed Doors, the podcast. Here we will discuss some hard truths around mental health, abuse, sexual assault, on top of endless others, while all coming together as one, sharing our truths, traumas, and real life experiences. We will assist each other in our healing journeys as well as grow and become better people. So come on, let's heal. Hey y'all, and welcome to episode 2 of No More Closed Doors, the podcast. Okay, I'm your boy Marcus, and welcome back. Y'all, I done tested positive for the COVID. See that? See that? I ain't never had this mess ever since it came out. But it's cool. It's cool, because COVID ain't stopping over here, baby. We still gonna keep it rolling. All right. So today we will be talking about negative self-talk, what it is, what it entails, and how we can counteract it. Okay. So over a couple of days ago, I was like really emotional. I was like trying to figure out what was going on with me. I just couldn't get it. And I kept feeling like I had to like cry. And I'm not much of a crier per se. Like I can, but it doesn't really happen. And it honestly comes from emotional trauma. Having to well, not having to, but feeling like I had to suppress how I felt because I felt that I was going to affect everybody else around me if I showed how I truly felt or showed my emotion. I mean, honestly, just not expressing how I felt. I felt that if I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm not having a good day," or I just don't want, or I'm not in the mood, or I just don't want to be around folks today, I felt like, you know, I couldn't do that because that would affect everybody else around me. I'm just that person. I was more of a people pleaser, um, to put my feelings on the back burner, to not really allow myself to feel what I needed to feel to make everybody else comfortable. So I know that that's where it came from, but it still don't make it right. So I started back to a couple days before I tested positive for COVID. I was having a conversation with the Lord, okay? Because why talk to anybody else when I can talk to the person that can fix it? There we go. All right. So I was having a conversation. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I started crying. And I started to explain to him how I was feeling, and you know, I felt like I was tired, and I was just like, Lord, this is rock bottom for me. I moved back home to finish school. I moved back home to follow my dreams, to chase my dreams. But Lord, it's not supposed to be like this. I don't have a job. I don't have any money. What am I going to do? And so I was explaining to him how I was feeling because he's my father. And as any other child would do, when we don't get our way, we go to complaining. We go to not we throwing a fit. So of course, I was talking to him and I was just telling him like, Lord, I'm tired, and Lord, I need a break, and Lord, I just feel like I need you know some time, just to get myself together. So boom, I test positive for COVID. I didn't even think I had it. I literally texted my mom. I was like, "Hey, you got some at-home COVID tests?" Because I literally just wanted to test myself to opt out the option of having COVID. I've never had COVID, so I didn't think I had it. I felt like I had a normal cold the first day, second day, but after them couple days, ooh baby, COVID, COVID. I thought I was about to die. Woo. But anyway, so what is negative self talk? Negative self talk is whenever your inner voice is excessively negative. So in my case, I deal with negative self talk when it comes down to normal things. I can be driving down the road and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta watch out and be careful and look behind me at all times to see if I'm being followed by a cop or anything like that. Not feeling worthy, constantly talking down on myself, constantly not, you know, following my dreams because I felt like I didn't have what it take or what it took. I didn't feel qualified for it. And getting COVID actually allowed me to see that just because it doesn't look the way that you want it to look, don't mean that you're not qualified. Or just because your vision don't like everybody else's, or your views don't like everybody else's, or your friends don't like everybody else's. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to like yours because it's your story, it's your journey. All right. So negative self talk can come from PTSD, it can come from trauma. I mean, it can really just happen. Honestly, if you think about the way that we are raised, sometimes the people who we are raised by, the people who we are influenced by, they can instill negative self talk into us by not feeding us positivity, especially as children, especially as little kids. We have to realize that now that we are the upcoming generation and the new adults, we have to realize, okay, let me do things differently than the way it was done when I was growing up. Because if it affected me the way that it affected me, and I'm now having to go through the process of unlearning all the toxic stuff that I was taught, basically becoming a new person, that's gonna require work. And so why would I want to do that to anybody else if it took a toll on me? I was having a time because everything seemed to be negative. So rewind to, I just tested positive for COVID, and I immediately started thinking negative. I immediately was like, Lord, and we're taught we're not supposed to question God, but as a human, and once again, as a child of Him, what does a child, uh, what is a spoiled child? Let's throw it in there. What is a spoiled child? Because God spoils us. Let's be for real. Uh, to have the things that I have, and it may not seem like much to me, but to think about the simple things, having a home to come to, having a place to call home, a place to come home to lay my head at night, a hot, warm shower, a meal. We take those small, well, what we seem, what I mean, we may think of them as small, but we take those big things for granted, because some people don't have that opportunity. Some people don't have the opportunity to get on a platform and share their story. So that encourages me just to say, you may be just starting out, or you may not have all the things that you want right now, where it may not look exactly how you want it to look, but look at what you have and look at what is going on. But once again, as a spoiled child, I didn't see it that way. I didn't see me having COVID as any kind of positivity, nothing. I know I got COVID, and that's that. I'm mad about it because why? So my first thought was, Lord, why? After all that I done, after all I done gave, after all I done sacrificed, after all the money I done spent, after all the extra hours of work, after the school and just everything, I felt like I was putting myself on a pedestal. I was literally asking God, Lord, after all the stuff I done did, why I get COVID? So after being mad, honestly, after being upset, I started thinking, and it kind of hit me. I was like, wait a minute, Lord. I just began to tell you the other day about how tired I was and how exhausted I was and how I felt like I needed a break. And no, it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen or the way I would have imagined it happening. But Lord, you know me better than I know myself. And we think we know ourselves so well, but let's be real. My case, I know that I I can be just as tired can be, and I still would keep going. I'll still keep finding other things to do or other things to add to my plate. And he knows that. So of course I have COVID. And I'm not saying that, oh my gosh, the Lord gave me COVID. No. But sometimes he allows things to happen that'll give us time to sit down and to think about, the things that we've been putting on the back burner, you know, or sometimes he'll allow things to happen so he can show us while you've been out worrying so much about how you gonna make it, you weren't even paying attention to the stuff that I was doing because it didn't look positive to you. It didn't look the way that you would have imagined it to look. That's what's wrong. We get in our own way, negative thinking. So after coming to realization, like, okay, Lord, you actually just answered my prayers. You answered every tear because it got to a point where I could not vocalize how I felt. I was just bawling. And in my brain, in my heart, I was saying, Lord, I know that I may not be able to say what I'm feeling, but I know that you hear and you know every tear. And as a guy, as a guy in the black community, as a guy who is a part of the LGBTQ, we have pressure on us. And let's take away the LGBTQ. Let's just talk about being a black guy. Let's just talk about being a guy sometimes. There's pressure because we're taught to suppress emotion. We're not taught to express how we feel. We're not taught to, we're taught to be macho, to be tough, to be one way, da 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 da. Like you got to do this, or you what they call it, you acting sus, or you acting a little spicy, or whatever the hell they say. It don't matter though, because we're human. And so, how can I help anybody else suppressing how I feel and allowing everything to bottle up and then becoming somebody that I don't want to be in a moment of me feeling insecure or a moment of me not feeling, strong enough to handle whatever it is? No, let me express how I feel. And if I don't feel like I can vocalize it or I feel like I need to go away, let me take that time to get myself together, because that's where the negative thoughts creep in. When we don't have time to sit and think about how we feel, or we don't have time to sit and process how we feel and to really get to the nitty gritty of, why am I feeling this way? Why am I really mad? Is it worth me being mad over? Why am I sad? Is it actually worth me being sad over? Or is it that I just need to take a different approach? Or is it that I just need to think of it differently? Because majority of the time, that's what it is. We have been programmed to think one way, and it's simple minded, and it's kind of sad because we don't think about it. We don't think about, oh my gosh, did what I say really hurt? Or mine, forget all that. Did what I think hurt? Will it hurt if I allow it to come out? You know, will it hurt if I act the way I thought or act impulsively? Because sometimes we will act impulsive. We'll make impulsive purchases. We'll make impulsive decisions based off our emotions. We will do anything impulsively if we don't like it or it just don't feel good to the skin. So no, COVID didn't feel good to me, but I had to realize, Lord, just because it don't look good, don't mean it ain't good. And just because it's not the way that I would have thought that it was supposed to come, doesn't mean that it's not working exactly how it's supposed to work. So let's talk about three different things. That's called the three C's. And this is how we are going to counteract negative self talk. So we're going to catch it. We're going to catch the fact that we are negative self talking. That we're going to acknowledge the fact, like, oh, I don't like it. Or, something ain't right. Or, ooh, why my thoughts always bad? Why I can't never think nothing negative? Or, you know, things like that. Then we gonna check it. So first, we gonna catch it. Then we gonna check it. All right, let's nip it in the bud. Let's find out why. Okay, why am I feeling this way? Why am I always thinking negative? Is it something that I was taught? It was the way that mama taught to me? Was it the way that auntie or granddaddy or whoever raised me taught to me? Was it me being bullied in high school? Is that the reason that I can't seem to, get my thoughts together, or whatever the case may be? Somebody made me feel worthless, or somebody said something to me years ago that has stuck with me and that was instilled in me because it replayed over and over and over again in my mind. They're lying to you, number one. Okay. All right. And also with checking it, we're going to focus on how we can change the issue. Okay. And number three is we're going to change it. So once you check it, okay, you're going to change it. So catch it, check it, change it. The three C's. And so the three C's have helped me because I've caught it and I've understood that I think negative. My brain immediately goes to a negative thought when something doesn't go the way that I think it should go. And that's not okay. Then I check it. Okay, how am I going to stop allowing myself to think negative all the time? Because it's becoming an issue, because it's starting to interfere with my daily life. and I can't focus anymore, or I can't go to school. I'm not motivated for school anymore because all I'm thinking about is I don't want to be here, or I'm ready to go home, or I'm tired, or I don't da 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 da. And then we're gonna change it. So now that I've caught it, I've checked it, now I'm changing it. I'm doing the necessary steps. I'm taking the necessary actions to change the way that I think. So I'm waking up and I'm starting to, give myself positive affirmations. I'm waking up and I'm starting to pray more. I'm just waking up and I'm immediately starting to think about, not what I got to do today, but thankful for just waking up and given the opportunity to do whatever it is I have to do that day. So instead of looking at every day as an obstacle, I look at every day as a blessing, as an opportunity to get up and to make new memories and to encourage the next person to speak out, tell their truth, to speak out and to change, or to just become a better version of themselves. That's the way that I have not completely changed, but have changed the way that I think. And now that I've been putting in the work and doing the necessary actions and I put it into my routine, which we don't like sometimes, routines, but routines, they bring down the stress level because when you have a routine, you don't have to really think about, you don't really have time to think about anything negative happening because you already know what's next on the list. And that could be taking a nap, okay? Throw a nap in the routine. Throw it on the to-do list. 12 to 2. Okay? 1:30 to 2:30. Throw a nap in there. It can be part of the routine. But once you get into the habit of having the routine, it stops becoming so stressful and you stop becoming so anxious. And then you have that place in your mind of peace. So when it's actually time to rest at nighttime, you can go to sleep peacefully. When it's time to be around your family and enjoy the family time, you can do that. And you don't have to lock yourself in your room and try to figure out, oh my gosh, why don't I want to be around them, or oh my gosh, I can't stand that, or oh my gosh, this, or just always having something negative to say. So for the next few days, how about we start our days on a positive note? Let's start our days on a positive note and watch how that becomes our reality. Watch how what we start speaking becomes what we start living. And then watch how your mind changes from a negative place to a positive place that gives you peace and that gives you an opportunity to go into your mind and to get the peace and get the recharge that you need and not having to do so much to run away from it. All right. That's all for today, guys. I hope that y'all enjoyed today's episode. I'll see y'all on episode 3
It's a new
on the No Closed
level.
Doors podcast. Bye, guys. Peace.